She doesn't need to sell 400 million to keep her afloat. She only needs to sell a few thousand, quite honestly, and I'm sure she's doing pretty decent, considering that she sells the books on average of between $3 and $8 or $9, as you see here, and she basically keeps 70%. She gives Amazon 30%. But she doesn't have to worry about real estate. She doesn't have to worry about shelf space. She doesn't have to worry about any of that. She just creates, puts it up there for folks, and the people who are interested go ahead and come to her. Now, what about other physical things? If you're good at making things with your hands or making a product and you want to sell it, a lot of people think of eBay, for instance. The one thing that, the one great place to go ahead and sell things if you're creative, and Heidi probably sells something over there, is Etsy. Etsy, everything on Etsy is handmade as far as I know. And a lot of times they're very unique products. They're not mass made, whereas, you know, you go out to the store and you buy one thing and there's 1,000 more that are made and distributed all across to all the rest of the stores, all the chain stores like a Walmart or Macy's or something like that. You come here and the chances are you'll find something very, very special and unique created by people who are very passionate about it. And if you go to Etsy and you take a look at their blog, and the link is all the way up at the top there, you'll actually see an entire section that is based around what they call their success stories. And you'll notice that most of the success stories are people that have taken a piece of their garage or their bedroom or some part in their kitchen, and they've built a business off of utilizing that small space in their residence and turning it into a workshop for them to create something. And many of them have talked about how they've been able to leave their 9-to-5 jobs in order to go ahead and basically pursue what they're passionate about. Now, you may or may not care about creating pillows or t-shirts or writing a book or any of that, but you may have your own passion and your own reason for, and your own passion that you want to pursue in a creative way and haven't thought about doing so yet. Or maybe, as I've talked to a couple of folks like Joseph over there, who are already pursuing a little bit about what they're passionate about in building a company or putting together a product of some sort, which is, it's definitely a creative endeavor. So one of the things I find that is an obstacle for folks and why they don't jump in and try to express themselves with their creative juices in business is because the first thing is that they're afraid of what the outcome will be before they even have a chance to start the creative process. Okay? And what I mean by that is they're too busy focusing on what the outcome will be before they decide to just go ahead and start the process and seeing what may evolve as they go along with it. Okay? And what I call that is not being afraid of picking up the Play-Doh. And what I mean by that is, when you are creating something, and how many people know what Play-Doh is beyond the fact that it's sitting in front of you on the table? Okay? Grew up with Play-Doh, played with Play-Doh when you were a kid. Well, Play-Doh is obviously very, very colorful. Okay? It kind of asks to be touched and turned into something. Kids, you will not ever find them not wanting to pick up the Play-Doh. You put it in front of them, and even when they're told not to pick up the Play-Doh, I'm sure a few mothers might agree with that, when they're told not to pick up the Play-Doh, the first inclination is for them to do so, okay? So usually when people think of picking up the Play-Doh, they think that this is going to be the outcome if they decide to be creative with it, all right? So some of you that may be a little afraid of trying something that you know in the back of your mind you've been wanting to do and that you're passionate about because you're too busy thinking about whether or not that end result is going to look like this. All right? Well, what happens then when adults get an opportunity to real adults get an opportunity to pick up the Play-Doh? Well, I host events, and I hosted an event recently called the Secret Sushi Social. You get it from the name of my business. And what we did is we actually brought together a number of people, and the whole theme was getting creative, all right? This right here, it looks really, really messy, but this is part of the layout of all the clay, actually, that we had on the table before all the adults came in. We wondered, what would the reaction be? Would people actually pick up the clay, pick up the Play-Doh, and start creating something? Or would they be too busy thinking, I don't want to sit here and look like a little kid making something. I don't know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to make. I'd rather go over and talk with with my friends or have some food or something like that. But instead, where is that photo? Is it easy to see? There we go. But instead, we got smiles. We got people working, just sitting there for almost the entire 3 hours of the event, busily playing with the Play-Doh. They picked it up, they made things like mooses, Bullwinkle. Bullwinkle sitting on a multicolored log there. And you guys will laugh at this, but we have friend Vicky over here, and so she was busy obviously having fun. She didn't know that I was over there taking a photo. That smile was just beaming because of her being in that moment playing with the Play-Doh there. And the name of her business is Kick-Ass Coach. So she decided to make a kick-ass figure, kick-ass karate figure over here for her business. So a couple things that I want to do here in the middle of the presentation is, one, I want you guys to pick up the Play-Doh in front of you and just for a moment try to open it, because it takes a little bit of effort to open it. Okay, and I don't know, whoever has been familiar with Play-Doh in the past, if somebody opens, no matter how big the room is, if somebody opens one container, you're having a hard time there, Don? That was the combination lock version.
Yeah, this is the child-proof one. Definitely.
If you open one little container of Play-Doh, you can smell it in the entire room. Okay, I'm sure if we had it open before, then the folks over there would come walking over because they'd be able to smell it. And to me, that's like the smell of possibility. Like, I could walk into a room and there'd be absolutely no reason for me to know that there was Play-Doh there, but if I smelled it, I'd want to find where the heck that smell was coming from. All right? So that to me is like the inclination, the potential to be able to use it for something, the potential to take some sort of material and turn it into something creatively better and bigger than itself. All right? So the next thing is try to take it out. You almost have to smear it out of the whole entire thing. And hold it up real quick. I want to see what color everybody has. The whole thing. You already... All right.
Oh, the whole thing.
No, it's okay. It's all right. So now the interesting thing that I'm seeing is, whereas some people just took out the Play-Doh and opened it up, others have already taken it out of the container beforehand, and they've actually started creating something. I see at least 3 or 4 people that are already doing that. I'll let you guys get into it a little bit. Look at that. So now this is what I want you to do. I want you to stop for a second, and I want groups of 2 people next to each other. I want you to introduce yourself to the person next to you. I want you to tell them a little bit about yourself in regards to what you're passionate about, what your passion is, what it is maybe that you'd like to create, not just with the Play-Doh, what you'd like to create. And then after you do that, I want you to spend the next few minutes actually collaborating with the colors that you have and maybe an extra color around you. And I want you each to create something. Okay? So you have now 1 minute to introduce yourself, 30 seconds each, and then 3 minutes to create something. Ready, set, go.